Another fun Michigan Wolverines game. I just keep coming back to fun, Cart. That's what I keep doing. This one was wild. My Michigan Hawkeyes returned, and they emerged with an 83-78 victory over a Stanford team that I don't think is particularly noteworthy. Jared Haas has these boys 0-2 in the battle for Atlantis. They did take Arkansas to double overtime and probably should have won the game in regulation, if we're being honest. Now they're 0-2 with a date with Northern Iowa. They have shooters all over the place outside of a bunch of shooting. I don't really love what Stanford has. I was very confused that Jared Bynum was their point guard.
I had no clue that he transferred. That's just like such an odd like school. Like to go from Providence to Stanford, it just seems like just not the most normal transfer.
Yeah, admissions isn't supposed to let those guys in, right? Like I thought us academically prestigious schools aren't supposed to just take like a nasty point guard from Providence. That's not supposed to happen. But yeah, I thought Michigan was better tonight, clearly, than they were in their last game out against Memphis. The offense is humming. They're the Michigan Hawkeyes. Call it what it is. Defensively, for the first half, this was the worst half I've seen since the Long Beach State game. And the Long Beach State game was the worst half I've seen in 30 years of being a Michigan basketball fan. This team doesn't guard. This team does not have any intent or effort or cohesiveness or communication or plan defensively. With that said, Cart, they started getting some stops in the second half. And do you know what happened?
What happened?
I'm like, it was a 22-2 run. The moment they just got a couple stops in a row, it was a 22-2 run. So I'm left with like a bunch of optimism and a bunch of hope that if they can just figure out the defense, I think the offense is actually that good. But man, they just left dudes open most of this game, and Stanford hit 12 threes, and it was an ugly performance, even though they won.
Yeah, this game was like no pun intended. It was like a game of runs. Like each team went on a 15-point minimum to like 2-point run in both halves. Stanford's were a little less substantial. I believe they were like 15-2 and 17-2, maybe between the halves. Michigan's were like 25-5 and 22-5 runs. And I think that they did a better job too of getting out and running in this game, and just kind of just going back to what we talked about yesterday, how they visually kind of played different in the last game. They lost to Memphis. I think this game they did a better job of running and getting out. And the main thing that impressed me of this was that you look to the Long Beach State game or any other close game you want to look at. You talked about like what guys did when it got to winning time. Like you're getting Olivier taking this guy out the dribble, laying it up. You're getting Doug McDaniel splitting screen floaters, laying it up. And it was also like, I want to know your opinion, because you see a team in Michigan who, when they wanted to lock in on defense, like when they locked in on defense for like a good 5 minutes, they were kind of clamping. Like they were getting in the passing lanes. They were getting out and run. They had like 3 straight steals, 3 straight dunks. Like they were semi locked in for like 2-minute portions.
So, yeah, there was the crazy sequence where Doug McDaniel had a steal where it looked like it. Honestly, people talk about how bad Juwan Howard is in timeouts, or I don't even know if Juwan was in the huddle. Maybe this was a Phil Martelli thing, but they talk about how bad Michigan's coaches are in timeouts. Well, they came out and Michigan knew exactly what Stanford was running because Doug just straight up jumped it. So takes it down, layup. Then one play later, we had Kamwa just rip the ball from his man, NBA talent looking dunk. Then Terrace Reed reads a passing lane, goes down dunk. Like I've never seen a team with 3 straight live ball steals turn dunks in a row, or 2 dunks and a layup. And by the way, Doug punched during a timeout in the Memphis game. We haven't talked about that yet.
Like dunked it?
Like, yeah, there was a TV timeout and Doug dunked. We need to talk about that. It was a punch too. Like he punched.
Was it emphatic?
Yes, it was. We need to talk about this. But no, the thing is though, like, I think there is some substance here of like, okay, if Michigan had the depth to do this, I think Michigan's personnel would probably be pretty good in like a risk-taking defense. And you can tell me if you think I'm wrong, but like Doug and Kamwa and Terrace Reed and Burnett are all physically capable of forcing turnovers. They might not be anything else. And I think if I step back and broadly look at what's wrong with Michigan's defense, it's not anybody's stature. It's not their athleticism. It's not their speed, their physicality. It's just their cohesiveness as a unit and their ability to communicate. So I think like by the end of the season, hopefully the communication improves. You would definitely think that's coachable. But two, like there are just a lot of guys that take plays off or do a lazy closeout right now. Like the amount of times they do like dare you to shoot it closeouts and then dudes just hit shots. Like in the middle of the 22-2 run after the 3 steals, they were actually taking away the 3-point line. Like the threes were contested instead of just like a half hand. And that makes a massive difference. And like I said, I don't know what got into Michigan to make them decide to start contesting better, but they're a totally different team because it does go back to the Michigan Hawkeyes, man. Go back through the last 5 years. Anytime Iowa gets 4 straight stops, they're going on a 15-0 run. That's what happens. Like it just, their offense is that good that if they get a couple stops in a row, they're going on a run. And that's how I feel about Michigan right now. Like this team's going to score, even in their bad games. They're not going to have stretches where they can't score. Doug and Kamwa are too consistent. Namari Burnett looks great, man. Can we talk about him real quick? He went silent in the second half, but when Michigan was struggling early, down 11, like right off the bat, Namari Burnett just put the entire offense on his shoulders, as he's done like 3 games out of 6. He looks like the 5-star recruit that he was out of high school right now. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, no, they look good. Like I said, I don't worry about this team at all offensively. Like honestly, 1 through 5, even like Terrace Williams went on a run in this game where he was just like not even looking at the regular 3-point line. He was just pulling up on like transition trail threes and just like strapping them. They hit like 3 straight, if I'm not mistaken. But here's where I'm at defensively for Michigan. Just to comment on before we move on to like, giving Amari Burnett his credit. I think there needs to be a middle ground between like using the like gimmicky type defense, but like also preserving your guys. So hear me out on this. What do you think about like a 1-3-1? Like not a full court press.
I like it.
Not a full court press to like really tire you out, but like give me a 1-3-1. Like put Olivier at the top of it if you want. Honestly, I mean, put Olivier at the top if you want like length. But honestly, even if you wanted to put like Doug at the top, he could just be a pest.
So the main thing is they've gone zone, not a 1-3-1, but they've gone zone, and the zone's been horrendous. That was last year all the time because Jet just never knew they were playing zone when they played zone. Like when they went to zone, Jet thought they were still in man the entire time. The entire season never stopped. This year, people have known they're in zone, and they still just like give up wide open corner threes every time, mostly because Doug's been really lazy. Doug just jogs back and doesn't get to his spot in the zone. So I do want to give my boy Doug some credit, my boy Nasir some credit. His effort in transition defense was noticeably better today. I've been watching for it, and anytime there was a turnover or if he made a mistake, it was not jog back and leave his man wide open. It was like sprint back and get back in the play. He had a couple he deflected out of bounds. It made a big difference. So I think somebody probably got into him a little bit on that. But yeah, I think like I am very open to the idea of like, let's gimmick around. I think they have to. I think if you're going to be a team that plays 4 guys 35 minutes a game, you have to. And right now, pains me to say, they got to play them all almost 40. like dog, Trey Jackson is so bad. He's horrible. He's horrible.
We were lied to, but we never actually bought that.
Yeah, like that's the thing is we don't even need to say we were lied to because you and I just like laughed it off the whole time leading into this. There was one moment of belief, and it was when they did like the open scrimmage and Trey had like 24 points and nobody else was in double figures. Like
right.
That was the one game where it's like, wait a second, what happened? But he just like it's the opposite of Terrace Williams. Terrace Williams is like, wow, look how much better he got. Give that kid so much credit. And Trey Jackson's just like, he's never gotten better. Ever. That's why he's at Michigan now and not Seton Hall or the NBA. Like he hasn't improved at all. So he can't play. He can't dribble. Every time he touches the rock, if it's not a shot or an immediate dunk, it's a massive mistake. And it's usually a live ball turnover. He has to play. Like by default, he has to play on this team. And he had a couple good moments. Actually, I thought he was part of what turned them around defensively early in the game. I thought him and Cheddar came in and they both had a couple of good defensive possessions right away that actually sort of swung the mode. Because at the beginning of this game, like the 5 starters were straight up not guarding anybody.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Well, I wouldn't even say like it's not like they were getting cooked. They just weren't guarding. So it's like they are going to get cooked if you're not even going to guard. Like you're not going to attempt to guard.
But the thing too is like, I think there's bad defenses that like at least try and have a plan and execute it and take away some things. Like even if you're a bad defense, you can make life hard on one player or something. And I thought in the Memphis game, Michigan was horrible defensively, but at least it wasn't Memphis's best player killing them the whole game. Like, yeah, all their players played well, but it was like the end of bench coach's son who has 2 career points, who went for 17. Like, okay, whatever. He wasn't on the scouting report. That sucks. In this game, like they were just leaving Stanford's best players wide open the whole game.
Or closing out on a guy that's shooting 50% from 3 on the season with a hand down.
Yeah, man. It's just bad. It's really, really bad. And it's habit stuff. And like we said, during the 22-2 run, all that went away. And like, I think guys just got to look themselves in the mirror and find a way to be more consistent, find a way to communicate. But yeah, right now, I can't pinpoint what's going wrong. I just know they're really bad. It's like watching Iowa, which is my dream. Card, I keep saying this was a fun game. This is another fun game, my friend. I'm having a blast over here.
I'm glad you're having a good time.
But like if they had lost this game, I think I would still be like, that was a fun game. I think I would be mad, but like
I mean, you're not mad at 3 straight losses?
I would have been mad for sure. But like, okay. Did I not come on after Memphis and be like, that was fun? Like,
yeah, true. I mean, I guess you did. No expectations, just have fun and healthy.
The team's fun. This game against Texas Tech is going to matter. We're going to do the preview in just a moment. But if you can come out of this after losing the first game to Memphis, if you can come out of this 2-1, I think you feel infinitely better about your team than you would.
Yeah, I think any of these like MTE mid like feast week tournaments, winning them obviously is great. Leaving like with a winning record means something though. You don't want to leave there like 1-2 or like 0-3. That's too detrimental.
Yeah, no, you're right. I have 2 more quick player things to get on. And then we obviously have a big moment we need to end this segment with. Olivier Kamwa was, I think, again, really good tonight. 16 points. He was 6 for 9 from 2-point range. He hit a 3, 2 assists he tacked on. Didn't really get going on the rebounds, only 4 boards, but like a block, a steal. Like he just kind of does. He can do everything on the floor. I think I honestly feel he can do everything on the floor. I don't know why he's not better. Like a guy who's capable of doing everything he can should be like in the conversation to be a first team All-American. And he's just not, and he's not going to be. And I get like Tennessee people trying to tell us this is the thing. I'm just saying, like, checking in on a game to game basis, I don't understand why he's not better, because he's one of the most talented players that I've seen in a Michigan uniform in my lifetime. Genuinely.
Yeah. I truly think like he could roll out of bed, hop in the Chrysler, and give you at minimum 13 and 5. And that's just weird. That's just with him like just showing up.
Yeah. And I don't think like it sounds like when we say like, oh, he's that good, why isn't he better? It sounds like it's like a criticism, like he's lazy or he's doing all this stuff wrong. It's not even that. Like I can't pinpoint why he isn't more consistently a killer. I can't figure it out. I'm trying to figure it out. And I'm not there yet, but my one thing I do think I feel confident in saying is if Olivier Kamwa is your best player, you're not a very good basketball team. If he's your second best player, you're an okay basketball team. If he's your 4th best player, you're an awesome basketball team. And for Michigan, he's never going to be lower than 2nd on this team. Like it's going to be either Doug or him every single night, which means by default, Michigan's either a bad basketball team or an okay basketball team. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah. Well, you want to know what it is and why you can't figure it out? Like why he doesn't do that? It's literally just how some people are just wired differently. For real. Like it separates people, truly. Like some people are just
floats.
Some people are just wired to be like killers or just be a certain way, and some just like aren't. And it's not like the worst thing in the world, but like you can't expect players that aren't wired like that to be able to flip on a switch. Really, I don't think I can't remember a scenario where it was like that guy wasn't a killer, and then all of a sudden he flips the switches like a killer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like even in a situation like last year with Michigan, if you point to freshman year Kobe Buffkin, people are like, "Oh, he came back his sophomore year, he was a killer." No, honestly, Kobe Buffkin was wired to be a killer. He just kind of wasn't at the time. But like guys like that, they can get better, but you can always have that wire no matter like what your skill is.
Yeah. There was some like opportunity element to it, right? Like that was part of the issue with Kobe is he's just got to wait his turn. And Kamwa, I think to an extent with Tennessee, like maybe there was some of that. I don't think Tennessee ever wanted him to be their best player. And Michigan does. I think Michigan wants Kamwa every single night to be their best player, even with Doug. And I don't know. Some nights he's going to leave a lot to be desired. Some nights he's going to be awesome. It's a fascinating little experiment. And even tonight, like, he had the big moments, like you said. Like we're sitting here saying, like, ooh, why isn't it all the way there? But like he scored in the clutch tonight in one-on-one situations. He had blocks at the rim in one-on, like he delivered both offensively and defensively when the team needed it most tonight. I have a hard time watching him, wondering why he doesn't do it every possession instead of like 50% of the time. So interesting to watch. We'll keep monitoring the Kamwa situation. I want to give Terrace Reed some quick flowers. This is his first game in double digits scoring this year. Terrace has had a hard time. It's not because of fouls like people thought it would be, but they just don't play him. They don't trust him as much as they do the other four. So they end up like Terrence Williams and the other three all play 32 minutes every night. Terrace Reed's like 25 to 28. And part of it is because defensively, I think they just like we kept saying he was out of position a lot. I think they trust Will Cheddar more than Terrace Reed to like close games, which kind of terrifies me. Terrace had some really bright spots in this game. He had some also very bad moments, but he had like back-to-back blocks early in the second half that kind of spurred the run. He had the big steal for the dunk. Like I said, 11 points, first time this season that he has finished in double figures. Where are you in general at with Terrace Reed right now? Because we loved him as a breakout guy, and we're not really all the way there yet.
It's early in the season. I'm not like selling my Terrace Reed stock, but has it crossed your mind yet that maybe Terrace didn't get better?
No.
At all. Really?
No, because I think he was very bad last year. I think he is definitively better.
See, I didn't think he was very bad last year. So I guess that's a different viewpoint in the situation. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just the makeup of the team. Like having Olivier with him just kind of takes away from maybe what you want to do offensively, because I actually think he did show some good things when they threw him the ball. And he didn't have like necessarily crazy post moves, but like he had the I'm bigger than you. I can take 2-3 hard dribbles, turn to the middle and do a jump hook or something like that, which is really, if you get one move, that can carry you a long, long way. So I don't know. It just seems that it hasn't clicked for Terrace this year for me. And maybe that's just because I've expected him to like come in and kind of be like a dominant big, not necessarily stat wise, but I expected him to dominate games. I don't think he's really dominated a game yet.
I think it's, to summarize, I think it's that he needs to dominate defensively. And instead, he's been part of the problem defensively. And if Terrace just like threw out all the offensive stuff, this team doesn't need him offensively, straight up. Like Doug and Burnett and Kamwa are that good production-wise. They don't need anything from Terrace other than catching dunks and finishing. So like tonight, yeah, it was good to see they threw the ball into him and he had some moves. That's fine. I don't ever want that. I literally don't ever want that. And I know you need to do it sometimes just to keep him engaged. And, if he has a mismatch, of course. But like, it's not going to be best for Michigan's offense ever to play through Terrace Reed in the post. Defensively is where he has to make his impact, because if he does become this anchor who can switch onto the perimeter and move his feet and get 2 steals and 2 blocks like he had tonight, then he becomes an integral part that adds a huge element to this team. But like we said, he's not all the way there mentally, I don't think, right now defensively. So it was good to see him just like stuff the box score, though. Like I said, 11 points, 2 blocks, 2 steals, 5 rebounds is what he finished with. Would have liked to see more there, but I thought this was his best game. And I think you do see development. My only issue is this, Car. There's one Big Ten center who comes to mind for me. You ready? You ready for your boy to get slandered?
No.
I'm getting Amir Williams vibes from Terrace Reed, and I hate that.
How so?
Just like guy you point to that you think should be so much better than he is, and you can't figure out why.
Is that coaching then?
I don't know. I think you would say Amir's issues were coaching, and I'm open to that. I didn't watch basketball as intently IQ wise as I do now back then, but that's like just Amir was all like, oh, 5-star, all the talent in the world. He's gonna have a breakout year, and then you're sitting there 4 years later, like this dude never clicked. And
Right.
we're only 5 games into Terrace Reed's sophomore year, 5 games as a starter, and I'm sitting here like, why isn't this dude better? You know?
Yeah. I don't know what I really do. I feel like it's a default setting just to point to coaching automatically when it's something like this, but that's also like not fair to coaches. But like at the same time, I don't want to put this negative energy in the air, but how this season is going, like so far for Terrace, does it seem like he is, and people are gonna say we're drumming up drama or something like that. Does it play or look like a season of a guy that eventually transfers?
No, not at all. It doesn't.
Not even a little bit.
No, the guy you should be worried about is Doug.
But Doug's playing well.
Yeah, I think
Doug's playing well.
That's why.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's playing well and has the keys.
I think Terrace is mentally to the coaching staff as important as Doug is to the future of Michigan basketball.
Okay.
I'm not worried about that. I think Terrace is my read is Terrace is comfortable in his life situation right now. That's my read.
You think that's the issue? He's too comfortable?
I think he's comfortable. I don't think who's pushing Terrace Reed right now for minutes? Will Cheddar, who was on a ranch all summer. That's your guy. And Will's playing good. Terrace has no concerns of people pushing him. So, Terrace, give him credit, man. Him and Doug stayed in Cam Sanderson, got a lot better. They redid their bodies. So I'm here for it. I like Terrace. I'm not worried about him. Doug is the one I'm worried about because I think Doug is good enough that I do think like Bill Self's going to call him. I hate that I'm saying that, but like by the time we get to next year, and I don't know, Doug strikes me as a program guy, and Michigan will probably do any money they would have given to Caleb Love this offseason, they'll probably just give to Doug next year. So hopefully they can secure it and it's fine. It's probably not a serious issue because Doug seems happy, but he's going to get phone calls, man. Like the tamper list, Borzello's thing that he runs, like you're telling me Mark Few's not already on Doug McDaniel next year? Like there are some people that are going to
I would be unbearably livid if I had to watch Doug wear a Gonzaga uniform next year.
You like him better in a Michigan uniform?
I'd rather him wear a Michigan uniform. I do not want to watch him in a Gonzaga uniform.
That's crazy.
I do not want to stay up till 11:30 every night to watch Doug cook Andrew Robeson from Pepperdine. Shout out to Roby.
That's really disrespectful, by the way. We'll still play. If you want to run fives, give me Roby and Ben Luger and 2 others, and I like my chance. Okay, so if Jerome Tang calls, I'm screwed, right?
You're cooked.
I'm really scared of that. I'm really scared of that.
But you might be okay though, because he's kind of striking out this year with his transfer point guard. Like it's not leading to the success they had.
That's because stop getting up transfer point guards. Stop it. What are we doing? Stop it. Just don't do that. Just get Doug.
Marquise Noel was an up transfer.
He was. Took him 2 years.
Year two up.
Always year 2.
Someone do the study.
Yeah, it's the 2 up.
We're not a math podcast. We're giving you great ideas here.
Doug McDaniel tonight, 20 points, 8 assists. You know what that means. Chug McDaniel, baby. Come on. When we set this number at the beginning of the season, Card, I could tell. I looked you in the eyes. I could tell. You didn't think this would happen this much. You didn't think we'd be sitting here 6 games into the season with 2 Chug McDaniels under our belt, my friend. This kid's special.
This is 3.
Well, the second one wasn't actually 20 and 8. You just were so excited about Doug, you insisted we do it.
I mean, the dude had 26, 5, and 4. And we're
so should it be if you add up points and assists, it equals 28? Is that
Yeah,
what it should be?
it should be like like the bet, like the points, rebounds, assists.
I was just so excited that we got to 28 tonight. I was so excited. Like I was watching that play out. Like I knew what we needed, and he did it. I love it.
This chug also goes to last night because Doug got us there somehow. Somehow got us to over 22.5.
My dog, I just want you to know. Let me speak from the heart for a moment. This kid's really good. This kid's really good. And he's not all the way there still. That's the most exciting and also terrifying part of all of this is like, while he's going out and getting 20 and 8 and a win, he's also like out of control with a minute and a half left when they're only up by 4 throwing the ball. Like he's not fully in control. And the moments that he is in control, he's so in control that whenever it fully clicks, Cart, I just think he's actually going to be National Player of the Year good. And I know that sounds stupid. Everybody can receipt me, tell me I'm homering. That's fine. But like right now, Doug is probably like has the game in his hands, molding it like clay 65% of the time. The other 35, he's an abject disaster. And I am just convinced, I'm totally convinced by the time he leaves Michigan, it's going to be 100% of the time that he's doing this. And when that happens, I think this kid's the best player in the country based on what we've seen.
Yeah, he will be both Player of the Year and SEC Player of the Year, either at Arkansas or Alabama next year.
I have never seen a player more productive while also being a disaster. And I that's why I love this kid so much. Like Doug, by the way, shout out Mrs. McDaniel. I hope that's your name. Doug's mom follows me on Twitter and interacts with a lot of my pro Doug tweets. Apparently she wasn't turned off by the fact that I was going by GregWaddell for a while. So that's a win. But to the whole McDaniel family, thank you. I'm thankful for you. It's Thanksgiving. You're my favorite player. Am I allowed to have a favorite player as a podcaster, Cart?
Yeah, I think so.
You're my favorite player since Trey Burke, period. And if I get 2 more years of you, I love you. And every time you get 20 and 8, I will chug McDaniel.
Enjoy having a point guard who is both fun and a disaster, because some of us just have disasters.
I'm so bad at chugging.
Why are you drinking Coors?
It's the only beer I've had for like 6 months.
Really? I think maybe we haven't spent that much time together. Just outside of podcasting. I thought you were a Miller guy.
I was years ago.
Years ago. God, there goes that other white dude that I podcast with. It's always rearing its ugly head.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Michigan. Big one tomorrow. I'm excited for it.